It's Dawn Del Russo. My question is about the new Fountain app. I recently became one of the beta experts in the fashion and beauty part of it, and I wanted to know your thoughts on people using video to ask questions, and do you think that they will pay for it to ask questions and have them answered by an expert? Love your answers. Thanks. Bye.
Dawn, this is a tremendous question with a very important answer. I think that people will pay for anything. Let me say that again. People will pay for anything if they perceive it has value. If there was an Ask Gary Vee show in 1967, and I'd be like, hey, Groovy Cats, it's the Ask Gary Vee show. You know, really excited. Oh, Dawn, you're thinking like, will people pay for water? That's totally far out. That's no way. Like, that would be the wrong answer. What happened was Poland Springs, and I'm sure plenty of people long before Poland Springs, I'm just not educated on the early days of the water industry, people came along and convinced people that bottled water had value. I mean, you go ask your grandparents. Here's a little fun weekend challenge. Go ask your grandparents what they first thought, if they can remember, not because they're old, just like if they can remember, what they thought about the idea of people paying for water. Think about how you feel. Steve, how do you feel on the notion that, I mean, I don't know if you know this, but you have at certain times paid $3 to $4 for a bottled water at an airport or some scenario, you absolutely have done it. What do you think about that?
I paid $3 for a water in Central Park the other day.
And?
I was really unhappy about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's an absolute brain twist. People will pay for answers, even though so many people are watching right now. You have a free show here that you don't pay for answers from somebody very qualified, thank you very much. But I do think people will pay. Now, are you good enough? Have you built up enough brand equity? And have you created the perception of the value to your answers to have that be the case for you? And more importantly, how many unicorns are there to be able to do that? How many people have built up enough historical execution and have charisma and ability to answer? How many Jack Welches, how many Mark Zuckerbergs, and then more importantly, the people that have actually pulled it off have to be in a very interesting part of their career or enjoy it. I love Q&A so much that I have to do this show for me, for happiness, not for the ROI on the time. I'm sure it's building audience. There's a lot of good variables. Sure, there'll be a right hook with the Ask Gary Vee book. But the truth is, the amount of money I'm gonna make on the book is shorter than if I did 6 speeches. So, you know, it doesn't make sense mathematically. And so a lot of people that would be good enough to pull off having people answer for them would never wanna do that as a business. Like, you know, so I think it's an interesting challenge. What I would say is there's probably uniquely 100 to 10,000 people that look the part, similar to be very honest, with as much humility as I can possibly say this, similar to me that can probably pull it off to a meaningful scale. My intuition is there's a lot of people that can get 8 people to pay to answer their question, but that's not real.